Hey, I'm not going to spend a lot of time introducing this video. It's only 3 years old. It's one of the first videos that I did when she's sick of being in these, I think. I kind of returned 3 years ago to doing videos to support my writing on psychology today. So it was the first video where I did that, and I say that in there. But it's only 3 years old. It talks about how there might not be a consistent personality, or not, at least not as much of a consistent personality as we'd like to believe. And it's actually where, I talk a lot about the course I took, the Coursera course that's listed in the video, that was called Buddhism and Psychology, I think. That course was what motivated me, and this is years ago, to kind of do some kind of class or group on like becoming a Buddha, right? Not that I'm a Buddha, and I'll get into that when I start the class. I'm going to start it in a few weeks or a month max, like end of May or June for sure. So anyhow, that's where I got the idea, and this video is definitely some material that should be included in that. And that's it for now.
And
Thanks.
I was recently inspired to start doing it again. First by a client who had watched one of the videos and was complimenting me on it. And then I also got another view. I get very few views, so they stick out. I got another view that complimented it. And then second by an article I recently read in Psychology Today about how vlogging or vlogging or video blogging or whatever it's called, how that has been used with mental health, how people that have mental health disorders are using that medium to feel better themselves and also to help others. So I thought I'd get back into it. And my most recent post for Psychology Today is "You Aren't You at All." And that came from a number of places, including a couple of podcasts that I had been listening to, most prominently the Invisibilia podcast, which is especially the first season was amazing, and the other seasons have been pretty good. There was in season 2 an episode that related to that topic, how we think there's a consistent self, and there really isn't. At least psychology seems to demonstrate there isn't. And also, season 3 was kind of a concept album, they called it, where they kind of stayed with that focus, that maybe there isn't a real you, a consistent, persistent idea of self that exists, and we overrate that. I guess the reason that I wanted to start doing this again, and I guess I'll kind of give some foreshadowing. I do plan on sharing a little more personally, I guess, in these, about my own demons, let's say, and that I've worked at overcoming. And I guess the reason I'm so passionate about the stuff I put in writing is because that's what's helped me. And to back it up, psychology has been studying it, and it's been helping numerous people with numerous problems. I want to get on to doing that. And really, it just comes down to, if you can step back from this idea of who you are, if you can start questioning your thinking, if you can question what your mind is telling you and not accept it as truth, not accept it as reality, then I think you're better off. I think, for me, that's a very positive space to be in. When I stop trusting my thinking, when I realize most of what I think is just, based on evolutionary drives, which is a lot of what the Buddhism and modern psychology course talked about. And then on top of the evolutionary drives is all this conditioning that's occurred from my society, my culture, my parents, my peers, everything I've read. Everything has influenced what my mind thinks. And that it's really just conditioning, and the evolutionary drives use the conditioning, I guess, to justify my behavior, to justify what I'm doing. And we create these stories. And again, if you can just recognize that a lot of what your mind is telling you is just ego based, evolutionary based, conditioning based, and it's not really reality, it's just your perception, it's your constructs, I guess. I think that's what Invisibilia called it. Uh, you've created these constructs over the course of your life, and that affects your perception of reality. If you can accept that and you can step back from it.
Okay, so I had to edit that part. Having a few years since that video was made, I understand the default mode network a lot better, especially having read the book rather than just watching the course and the videos in the course. In the old version of the video, I had said, the default mode network was a good thing, but it's not a bad thing or a good thing, but it's not the place you want to be. It's where your mind wanders when your mind is wandering. So in actuality, the goal is to be focused enough on your breath, or calm enough that you can get behind the default mode network, if that's an accurate analogy or an accurate statement, where your mind isn't wandering everywhere, or where you're aware that your mind is wandering, and you're observing that. So that's what I mean when I say behind it. So that's the goal. It was talking about the modules. So, when I'm assuming from what I've read and my limited understanding of the modular theory of the mind, that the default mode network is where your mind wanders, and it's between these different modules, usually in the past or the future. So I wanted to make that correction.
And it's a very peaceful place to be. All right, so this has run way too long, and I'll try to keep the other one shorter, but I just wanted to get started. So thanks for watching.